don't know me, I'm James. I'm a front-end developer on GitLab. And Matt, I'll ask you to introduce yourself. I didn't think to prepare you on this.
No worries. I'm a friend of James and also a junior developer.
Sweet. So today what we're going to do is we're going to set up the GitLab community fork in GitPod. So the benefit of running things in GitPod is instead of having to get GDK running on your own machine, you can run it. You can run the GDK in GitPod, and then you can use the VS Code in the browser, and you can use in the browser as if it's your own machine. And the reason why we're going through this, particularly with Matt, is because we try to get the GDK running and having some difficulties. So this is should be a quick, easy way to start contributing on GitLab quickly. So to start with, we'll go to the community fork. So I'll tell you what you go. I'll just tell you what this is. So sorry. So the way it works at GitLab, so we have the normal GitLab.com repo. So because I'm a developer on GitLab.com, I can create branches and push my branch to the repo, and from there we can we can create a merge request, and the branch is stored on the repo, and this is really useful, but non-GitLab staff can't do this. Well, I think GitLab core contributors can, but anyway, generally you can't push a branch to GitLab.com, and that's a bit frustrating. So what you have to do is create your own fork, which is what we did recently. But instead of creating your own fork, we have a GitLab community fork. So this is a repo that we can add you, Matt, as a member to. So then you're essentially a developer on the GitLab community fork project. The benefit to this is if you push your branch, it's to the public fork, and I can, because I'm also a member, I can pull your branch and make changes and then push it back to the fork. So it's more like working on the same one. The other benefit here is you get access, like the repo has the CI CD minutes. So what that means is, like, when you push a branch and you create a merge request, we have tests automatically run, make sure that the code is all good. It's not going to break our system. And when that code runs, when those tests run, it runs on our servers, and this comes out of your personal budget, I guess, for minutes, which is a bit annoying because you're likely to run out if you are contributing often, which we don't want you to run out. So instead, when you push it to the GitLab community fork, you're using our minutes, which is what we want. Okay, so I'll ask you to share your screen, and from there, I'll go through the instructions on how to set this up on GitPod. So if you can share your screen, and just a reminder, like, your screen will be shared on, we're streaming on Twitch. So
Okay, I just have to figure out how to do that since I'm new
cool.
to all.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want me to share my screen, James, or just the window?
Yep. Actually, just a window will be fine because we're going to stay in the browser anyway. Yeah. We'll stay in the browser for now.
All right. Cool. Did that work, or?
I can't. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I need to allow it. Cool. Great. Perfect. Just gonna see how I can make this bigger. Sweet.
So
Okay, so this is the GitLab community fork. This project is. Let me just try to hide that. This is the project. So what we're going to do is you're going to request to be added as a member onto this project. So the information at the top says for information about community forks, check out the Meta project. So on that link, the Meta project will talk about how does this work, what does it do, how do we set this up. So the first thing on here is we already talked about why we're doing this previously. So we're gonna jump to how. It's just the next one. So what we're going to do is request that you become a member of this group. So if you click on how to, this is the instructions on how to become a member, but I'll walk you through it. So if you click the link to the group, so the GitLab group, go back to the Meta.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
click on, yeah, that's right. So this is the group that owns the community fork. So if you click on request access at the top in the blue link, then one of our team members will assess your application and say, yeah, you can join. So Raymond's going to do that pretty well immediately. And so the only reason why you would get knocked back for something like this is if we thought you were going to use your membership in this for nefarious purposes. But yeah, generally, for other people watching, if you've made comments on GitLab before, if you've made merge requests, then it's going to be approved straight away. Okay, so you should be in this if you refresh the page, and a bunch of our team members are able to. So you're in the group now, able to approve. So if you are watching this and you want to join, you can do the same thing, and within a couple of days, definitely it'll be fine. But you can always message on Discord if you want someone to do it faster. Okay, so now we'll go back to the the community. The community branch. So the tab that I think it's contributing to the dev. Oh yeah, sorry, this one. Fine, perfect. Yep. Okay, so this is the fork. So what we're going to do is we're going to clone this. We're going to clone this repo, and we're going to pull it. But instead of cloning it onto your own machine, which we could do, so if we were cloning it onto your own machine, what we'd do is we'd install the GDK in the one-line install, and hopefully it would go all perfect. And then we would use this address as the GitLab fork that we're going to reference. But instead of that, we'll go to Web IDE. There's a arrow down on next to the Web ID. Web IDE on the left of clone.
So download?
On the left of that again.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go to GitPod. Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then
Okay,
we
so
clone
on
it.
Git. I'm sorry. No. So click on GitPod now on the word GitPod. Yep. All right. Cool. So we'll enable GitPod. So now we have to sign up for a GitPod. What's it called? Account. Maybe just click on GitPod again. See if that. Sorry, on the button that's now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what it's doing is it's creating a server that hosts an instance of the GDK with your branch. So open cloud development environment for the repo. So we'll continue with GitLab. Yep. So yeah, GitPod will. So the same way that tools like Code Sandbox have like a sort of virtual, machine running. It's the same thing. So okay, so we'll say VS Code browser is the editor that we want. Yeah. Continue. So what we're doing is it's creating a GitPod account for you using your GitLab profile. Okay, so now this will take a while because it's creating the server and creating the GDK. But this is the address for your server. So
James,
when you
once it's created, will it sort of need to be recreated each time? Or are you sort of good to go once it's set up on your browser after that initial setup?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's good to go, but it will go to sleep after a period of inactivity. So the way you can find your instance of this is you can go to gitpod.io. So maybe you can do this in a different tab while we wait.
Okay, and so
And
it
then
lists
on the yeah.
your
So this is
workspaces.
this is your workspace. So you own this, and from here you can if you have a look at the options on the right. So it's orange because it's building now. When it goes to sleep, it's gray. You can do a bunch of different things on here. So one cool thing is if you create, if you make the changes on a branch, you can share the link to, like in the GDK when you say GDK start, and then it says it opens up in the browser, local host, whatever, and you can log into GDK and see the changes. Because GDK is running on a server, you can then share that link with other people. So you could share the link with me, and I can see on the local development server of the GDK the changes in real time.
Wow.
Yeah. So within GitPod, it's going to show you a VS Code VS Code window with a terminal, and you treat it the same way as you treat VS Code on your own machine. So you do GDK start, and then you follow the link to the development. You can create branches, things like this. But yeah, what's cool now is when you create a branch, you can push that branch to the community fork of GitLab, and yeah, that's then we can create a merge request like normal. Cool. Yeah, this is going to take a little while. I had something else to show you while that was running. I can't remember what it is. Let me just check my notes. Do you have any questions so far?
No, that clears it up. So this will be set up, just to confirm, with GDK already good to go. We don't need to run anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So once it starts, you'll see in the terminal in VS Code that it's running GDK, I don't know what, start, update, something like this, install, GDK install. So it'll be installing the instance of GitLab, and it'll already be installing the fork that you created it from.
Okay.
So when we installed the GDK using the one line, then it asked previously, it said, what version, what repo would you like to
Right.
reference here? And you gave it the copy of your own fork. So now instead of that, you give it the copy of the community fork, but GitPod already knows that because that's where you started the conversation from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we were cloning a fork to make that happen. I'm not sure if it makes sense to sort of go over some of the bugs that are kind of ripe for the picking. This is all on Discord, and there's a list of issues that I think are labeled quick wins.
Yeah.
And it just might be good to mention that while we wait, that these are low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Relatively low-hanging.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, that's useful. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. For new contributors, that's perfect to go to. And yeah, hopefully the GitPod will be a neater space to get things set up. And yeah, you can always ask on Discord, like Matt and I did, for help. So in the community channel, I'll post the link to the Discord. Find that.
Yeah, so this is the thread where we were trying to get things set up last week and bumping into some problems. But people are just super helpful, and we're really quick to respond. So it's good to make a note that if you're looking to help out and contribute, then go there. It's a great place to start.
Great.
Looks like we're all set up.
Sweet. Okay, perfect. All right. So this is VS Code running in GitPod. So yeah, you can also like connect the GitPod instance to your local VS Code. We want to open this. Sorry, yeah, that's the message. So you can open it in VS Code Desktop, but we won't for now.
Right.
I was playing
I'm
around
just
with it this morning.
Open just so I have it, but it won't show up. I guess.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I would.
Yeah, I was
like
playing with this morning,
later.
and there was there was a couple of things in there that were that needed, it's a bit more simple in this on the desktop. Sorry, not on the desktop, in the browser. It's a bit more simple.
Oh, okay.
So we'll keep it here for now. Cool. So you can see that the GDK install command is running. And then if you move to the other terminal, so on the right, there's two different terminals, GDK GP and then GitLab Bash. So if you go to GDK Bash, go back, move to the other one.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So now this is as if we're in, GitLab Development Kit / GitLab. So now we're on the master branch. So from here, you would treat it as usual. You would create a branch for your issue. And then once GDK install has completed, we'll run like GDK start, and then we'll be able to see our instance of GitLab running in the browser so we can real time make changes. But for now, we are ready to go. So can we open the issue that you're that you're already assigned to? I can find the link for it if.
Sure. Yeah. If you could send me the link for it, that would be great. I don't have it on hand here.
Sweet. Post in this chat so that everybody can see. Okay. Yeah, so then viewers can see in real time what it is we're working on. So that's assigned to you. It's a bug that I well, I created the issue. I also created the bug. So it should be a pretty quick win. Should be. So let's have a look through it. So what this bug is, so within incidents, we have a tab for timelines, timeline events, and within timeline events, we have this, like for each timeline event, we have like this border on the left that should be continuous, but it's broken. So in this issue creation, describes what the problem is, screenshot of the bug, and then if you scroll down, we should be able to see like where in the system the possible fixes, where it's likely to be. So steps to reproduce. So we'll do this reproducing once GDK has installed GitLab and started GitLab. But for now, we'll have a look at the CSS. So the logic for the CSS in the left-hand border is all within that one link. So if you copy the name of this, the name and the path. So if you go back and we'll copy the name of the path. So from, everything in blue, we'll just copy this.
Alrighty.
Yep. And then in the GDK instance in GitPod, we're going to open up this file. So you can do Command P if you're on Mac to open up a file in VS Code, and then add that. It's Command P, right? And yeah. So maybe just get rid of the line. Sorry, it says L14 to L66. If you just get rid of that last bit after the hash, yeah. Why doesn't that open? This is the yeah, that's how you open a file, right? Yeah, that should search it, but maybe GitPod's still working out. So all right, well we'll just manually find it because we know what the route is. So we'll go app assets style sheet. Style sheet page bundles incidents.
And lines 14.
Yeah, exactly. So what's happening here is this CSS is pulled in. This SCSS, I should say, is pulled in when we run the incidents view app. So incidents is a view app, and when we load that view app, it brings in all of this extra CSS. So generally, we don't use a ton of custom CSS. Generally, what we do is we use GitLab UI to. Well, it's not too loud in here, but generally, what we do is we use GitLab UI and the customizations to create our styling. But when we need something a bit more specific, then we'll use things like this. So you can so we can have a read through and have a look at this probably doesn't make a lot of sense yet because we want to see it in action. So maybe we can open up the other terminal and see if GitLab has finished running. Okay, cool. What waiting for task to copy GDK. Consider adding one of its following versions. Well, that's frustrating. What's that mean? We don't have another problem. Let's have a look at GitLab Bash as well, the next terminal. Yeah, it's still running, so let's just wait and let's just wait then. So we can have a look at. Sorry.
I was just wondering, can you give us an idea of what we'll need to do to run GitLab locally using GitPod? Is it pretty much the same as what we would be doing in VS Code, or is there some differences?
So GitPod, what we're doing is we're not going to run GDK locally. It's not a thing we're doing. What we are running is GDK on the GitPod server. So GitPod made a tiny server just for you with your GDK running
Right.
and like the VS Code. And what we're looking at is this is that server running. So it's not going to run locally, but what it will do is it will like expose a URL that you can access that looks like it's running locally. Looks like it's running locally. It's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's
So
kind of what I
yeah, so it's particularly good as well because if you have a slow computer, that's fine. It's just loading the browser, so it's not actually running on your computer, which is a big benefit. Yeah,
Nice.
unless you have a fast computer, in which case it's not a benefit; it's a negative. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you an example of what a GitLab timeline event, timeline event looks like.
Shall I stop sharing
So
then?
no, I'll just send you a link and we can have a look at it together. Yeah, useful as well to talk about like what, like sorry, what a incident is as well. Because then
What does monitor do, maybe to just give us some context
yeah,
for people who might not know what it does?
yeah, cool. So monitor team, what we do, what monitor does. Let me just send you a link. Sorry, then I'll talk about it. Sorry, I lost the in the chat. In the chat overlay. Okay. So this is just GitLab.com. That's what we're going to look at. Is the main GitLab repo. So in our repo, we use incidences within Monitor. So Monitor, you can. So what Monitor does is you can connect to your like your error handling, your error reporting. That's not a good way to say it. You can monitor your instances of your own website and plug it into your GitLab repo, and then it can automatically create alerts if alerts is a paid tier. But from there, you can create incidences automatically on a paid tier. On a free tier, you can create incidences anyway. So an example of an incident. Excuse me. Sorry, an example of an incident might be for us, we automatically create an incident when our master branch is broken because that's really bad. And by broken, what I mean is the tests are failing because it means nothing can get merged. So just on this page, if you just keep it on there for the moment, just go back to just open any of them. Yep. So this is an incident. An incident looks like an issue because it kind of is an issue. It's a type of issue. So you can see incidents in the monitor incidents list, like you are now. You can also see incidents listed in the issues list, but we won't do that for the moment. So how are these different? So in incident, we have additional things. So we have metrics. And we have timelines. So metrics, you can add information, and timeline, you can also add timeline information. This is something that GitLab is very new for us, and we're only recently starting to use properly internally. but the GitLab, the timeline events. So let's try to find something with timeline events. If you scroll to the top of this, so go back to that list. Yeah. So what we want to do is we've got date created 5 days ago. Let's have a look at that one that's 5 days ago. So this incident has a severity. So that's important to know as well. So you can say like, how severe is this? In GitLab Premium, you can automatically have these incidences go to like the person who's on call, and then in the on call person, we can create things like a Zoom meeting room. Okay, cool. Here are the timeline events. So we'll just stay on this page for now. This is what we're actually going to work on. So in an incident, we create like a Zoom room or a Slack channel or both, and then say like, this is where we're dealing with the incident. So for us, what it means is when master is broken, it means no developers can merge any code to our system, which costs us a lot of money while it's down. So we have a Zoom war room where the person who is on call will manage this room and try to resolve this as soon as possible. That's what this is for. So in the timeline events, you can see on the left hand side we have like a little bubble, and then we have a line. So that's how this should look. Problem is when a timeline event has too much information in it, it's a bit bigger, and the CSS is fucked. I fucked it. It was me. So we're gonna fix this. That's what the bug is. So can we go back to the our GitPod instance running, and we can see if we can run it yet. No. Oh, it looks close. It looks close. Oh, hang on. What did that say? Go up to the top GDK bash. Cool. So just on the bottom of this, yeah. This is important to know. Like when we log in, this is it's got the login details. So sorry, this room got really loud all of a sudden. I'll just might move rooms. One sec. I'm just gonna have to stay in this room. Hopefully it'll be quieter. But the loud room I'm in is the GitLab contributor days in Ghent. So that's fun, I guess. All right. So, okay. So when you log in, when you open GitLab running from GDK, you'll be encouraged to log in, and the login details are the one here. So the login is root, and the password is 5life. So yeah, good to know, because I never know where to find this, and I always Google it every time. A service is available, and that's cool. Let's open that. So open browser. Open browser, I think. Our preview is fine as well. Okay, cool. So now it's running the GDK. So if you go to GitLab Bash, it should say like it's.
I want to open it in another window. Can I just click here, and then we're good to go?
Looks right.
Okay. Very cool.
So if you go to GitLab Bash, we should see that GDK has installed, and now it's running GDK start. Yeah, so that's good. So now this is working the same way as it ideally would on your own machine, where you have running locally, whereas like it's running locally on the GitPod server. So this URL that you've opened it in, you could make that public and share it with me so that I can also see what your instance is doing.
Okay.
So this will only take a couple more minutes, hopefully, to load. Maybe while we're waiting, we can have a look at the CSS again and try to really work out what is happening here, because that's really going to help us.
Okay.
So the thing we're looking for is, I think it's called like side border. So we have some funny things here to be like, in a timeline entry, we have a border on the left. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the one we're looking at. So this border on the left, that is that's the border we're talking about. So
So,
what this is saying? Oh, sorry.
no, I was just hoping to look at the example so we could just point out what we are, but I already closed
Oh,
that tab.
no worries. Yeah,
I guess it
we'll
would
get to
be
it eventually. Oh
this
yeah,
border
exactly.
here, right?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, so when it says like height calculation, so what it's trying to do is, and this is a little bit messy. It's not ideal. If you can think of other ways to make it cleaner, you're welcome to. But so before and after every like timeline entry, we have this border. But so you can see in the next line, like if it's the first child, so we'll have different children depending on, like, we have timeline events per day, so they're grouped in days, and so each day is a separate group. So in the first child of the group, before it, we don't want any line, because we only want the line to exist between the events. That
I
makes
see.
sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, in this example, the first child in the group, it shouldn't have a line before it, only after it. And then the second child in the group, it shouldn't have a line after it, only before it. And that way we don't get an overspill.
All right.
So you can see, so when you're hovering there, in this before and that class, oh, it's just this. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. That's what we're looking at. So the
This is,
timeline entry vertical line, last child has a before, doesn't, and then after it doesn't have any.
okay.
Okay. So yeah, it gets a little bit complicated because like how long should this line be depends on how long the content is in the
I
entry.
see. Yeah.
Because if the entry is long, it needs to cover that whole gap. So you can see there's a bit of overlap, like it goes when you just had it highlighted. I think
The
it's easier
line.
to highlight it. Yeah, that line. So that line goes into the circle below and into the circle above. But as long as it doesn't overflow outside of those circles, we're good.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably maybe enough to leave it here for now, and you can work on this by yourself once it has loaded. If it's still going to take a while, can you just go to the other tab and see where we're at? Can you just refresh
Yes.
this manually?
Sure.
Maybe just have one of the windows open as well. I don't know how it works on
Um,
GitPod, but I think
it,
luckily.
yeah. So for whatever reason, there was a sort of browser that was opened, and then I clicked on that to move it to a new tab, and that's
Yeah.
what that other tab was for. This was the first tab we opened.
Okay,
If you
sweet.
want, I can also send it to you.
No,
Like,
because I don't think it'll be. Well, let's try. Let's see.
yeah, I'm just
I'll see
wondering
if I
if
can access it. No, I can't access it because it's your private server. So you need to
Okay.
provide access if you want people to access it, but let's not do that yet. There's no need. Okay, sorry. Can you just refresh the page that said it's waiting again, just to make sure?
Sure. Yeah.
It's supposed to refresh automatically, but maybe it doesn't. Yeah, that's cool. We'll let it go. And then, so if you go back to your terminal, so what we want to do first is we want to create the branch. Well, we can do that. We can do that together. So if we have the issue, if you have the issue open, you what you can do, I'll show you a neat trick. Yeah, this is it. So if you go to just below the description of this, get a little bit further down, keep going. Okay, too far. Just at the bottom of the description we want to go to.
Okay.
So we should get a here and a little bit down. So what we'll do, it doesn't give you the option. I thought it would give you the option to create a branch, and then tell you can't, but it knows you can't make a branch, so it doesn't give you that option. That's fine. So what we want to do is make a branch, but we'll call it, the first bit of what it's called should be the issue number. So that's, you can find that at the top in the URL, or I'm sure somewhere else on this page, but URL is easiest. So if you copy that, and then on the GitPod, we'll create a new branch. So git checkout -b
dash
b for branch, space, and then like after we're going to put the name of the branch. So paste that, the issue number, and then we'll also add like what is this issue. So the issue number.
Yeah, I can't paste in the terminal for some reason. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then so dash. So the branch name should be like a single string.
Word.
No spaces. Yep. So we're going to call it like I don't know what it's called. Bug. What the bug's called?
Bug. So the whole
Bug
thing, or
timeline event. Yeah, bug timeline event side border.
okay.
Let's call it that. But we'll put dashes instead of spaces, and we'll make it all lowercase.
Okay, now I can use the.
It's cool. We've got too far. Okay, yeah, and then we'll remove the spaces and remove the capitals as well.
Okay.
There's one more space. Yep.
Cool. There you go.
Great. Okay, enter. Oh, yep. Perfect.
All right. Here we are.
Great. Okay, so now we're on this branch. Now, one important thing to note is because your branch is stored on the GitPod server, if your server is inactive for a period of time, I don't know how long, it'll delete it. So it means it'll delete any work that you've already done. So it's important to remember to push your branch often, regularly.
Okay.
I've been doing something recently where instead, like if I'm working on a branch and I need to I'm halfway through something, and I need to stash it, instead of stashing it, what I'll do is I'll create a commit, but I'll call the commit like work in progress draft. Don't fucking merge this. Like it's a work in progress, and then when I go back to it again, I can do git reset head 1, and it will get rid of the commit but keep all my changes. But the important thing is to remember, push regularly, and push your in progress work, because if you're contributing, you get distracted for a week, come back and your work's gone, that's going to be real frustrating.
Right.
Okay, I can see sign in the next tab, so that's exciting. It looks like So this is GitLab running locally on GitPod server.
Kind of locally.
Kind of locally. All right, so we're going to log in as root. So the username is root.
Right. And
And the
then,
password is 5life. You'll find it in the terminal because it's spelt funny with numbers and stuff.
yeah. Would you, I
In the
remember
top
seeing,
terminal in the GTK bash.
oh, it's right here.
There it
Okay,
is.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, GitLab, for
All right.
that. Making
There
life
was a bug here earlier where it didn't. I really hope this works. Just getting not authenticated earlier, but looks like it works. Cool. So Webpack compiling front end assets. This is good. This means like this is running the GDK. So what this means is like it's whenever you go to a new page, it'll take a little while to load because it's compiling all of the CSS, all the front end stuff in real time. So so we'll set a new password. This is for your local instance, so it doesn't need to be secure. You're the only one that can use it. Even if
so
someone
then,
else used it, all they can do is yeah. So we use current password 5life, and you make whatever password you want. It doesn't have to be because you're the only one that's using it. Like you're the admin of this instance of GitLab, but this instance is your like private instance. So yeah, you can be chill about it.
okay.
And do remember me and write down that password so you don't forget it. Otherwise, you'll have to like enter the Ruby Rails terminal and do some frustrating authentication stuff.
That sounds really
Okay,
fun.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, super fun. Okay, so let's go to Flight. Flight is a project that's preloaded in like the GitLab instance. So in Flight, from here, we're going to create an incident. So go to Monitor on the left and Incidents.
So is this sort of Webpack is compiling front end assets just going to kind of pop up as we're clicking through things?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So instead of building the entirety of the GitLab front end, it only builds what you use. So it runs a lot
Nice.
faster. So we'll go to Incidents on the left. Yeah. And then we're going to add a new incident once it loads. And yeah, because like this is your instance of GitLab, you can put whatever shit in here you want. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can create incidents. You can delete repos, whatever. You can't break anything. If you do break it, so just write test, whatever. So type is incident. It's automatically that. You don't need a description. You don't need to assign it. Just create the issue. Yep. Okay. So from here we have a incident. So we're going to navigate to the timeline tab. Top. Yeah. We're going to add a new timeline event. We're going to make one super long. And then just like copy paste that a bunch of times to reach the maximum. Yeah, cool. So that's the maximum number of characters. So then save it. And you can save it and add another one. Yeah, add another one as well. Okay, so now we've got the problem. This is the problem. Here it is.
Right. So we see
Is
that
that
the
line?
line,
Not long enough. And this is a good example here. Like it's good you added another one because it looks like it's only affecting the bottom one, right?
right.
So that's good because then we can
that
try to
means
isolate
we already,
what's different.
yeah.
So now we can like right click on the like open up the dev tools and yeah, you can't change that one because that is like the incident, sorry, the timeline event that
I see.
the timeline event that records when the incident was created. So you can't
Okay.
change that.
Because what I was
So,
wondering is
yeah.
if this line here is ever going to end up being too short, but it's always going to be the same length. So I guess what we're using here is the same length of line that's being used there, which is
That's
kind of
true.
where our problem is.
Yeah.
That's my
Yep.
theory. Anyway,
Yep.
you know
Sure.
better than I do.
No, I
Do
think
you?
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote
Okay.
some of this. I fixed some other problems, but not this one. Cool. So yeah, we'll just try to fix it in the browser for now.
Okay.
Sorry, in the GDK like running locally sort of browser, not in this one. The next tab
The
in the
next.
DevTools.
I see.
Yeah. So we're just going to try to fix it in the DevTools, and
Okay.
then we can use that to like put into the CSS. So here before we can see like so actually here's probably the issue. It says timeline entry vertical line. In that first bit, it says top REM -1 important. Sorry, go down, move your mouse down to like where the style is in the CSS styles. Down,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that top bit, that first
The
entry.
top. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is saying like the top, so where it starts should be one relative. I don't know. I can't remember REM. M.
Me neither.
You know, like it's so it's REM is the level of M, but it's relative to how big the text is, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The problem is the height. The height is what we've got, 2.5 REM. So this
Okay.
is incorrect because that's the sort of standard height, but when the previous entry is not like is longer, it doesn't work. So you can see maybe we can have a look at the line above it, like excuse me, yeah, that
Border.
one.
Yeah.
hmm We can have a look at that line and see what is the height of that line. What's happening here? So can you just move your mouse over before in the element part, and then we can see. Okay, yeah, it's highlighting it. Cool. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at the correct one. So it says height 2.5 REM.
Right.
So what I assume, well, actually, no, I feel like I know what's happening, but do you want to try to work it out?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, we have the same styling as in both, right?
Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
But
So
this one works.
exactly. So maybe we're looking at the wrong thing, actually.
Yeah. So, like, I want to have a look at this next entry that says timeline vertical before. So,
Yeah.
if you highlight this, you can see. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. If you in the elements bit where it says before, at the above this, above so this is the style
Oh,
section.
over here. Yeah.
This element, yeah. So when we look at before, if you mouse over before, what
Yeah.
are we looking at? We're looking at. Can you mouse over the LI, the list item?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at this list item. So LI before is before this list item, right? So can you mouse over before, and we'll make sure that's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I want to look at is the previous one to this. Yeah. I want to look at what's after that. So can we open that up? So before
Or
and
yeah.
then after. Yeah, after. So what I think's happening probably is um, so the before is really small, but the after is really big, and the after is what's missing.
Okay.
So what's actually missing is the after in our second last child.
I see.
Does that make
So
sense?
I kind of see. So where does the after come into play actually? Like why do we have both? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. So the idea is to say like, yeah, it's good. It's a really valid question. We might not need both. We might not need both, but currently we have before and after.
Okay.
So one
It
thing
looks
you
like
could
the same
consider,
element, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
So I think what's probably happened is we did it just to make sure, but it might have been a bad decision. So I guess you need to weigh up like, do you want to find the immediate fix, or do you want to clean up this thing?
I want to find the immediate fix. I'll do the cleaning up later,
Do the
but
cleanup later. Yeah, it's a good point.
let's spend 10 minutes rather than
Cool.
hour.
So, so our immediate fix, I think, here is the second last item. We have a missing after, because we can
Yeah,
see it before, we
right,
can't see it after. Well, why not? I don't know why.
right.
So
So under this,
if you look at the previous after, you can see what the CSS rule is. So let's have a look at the other after. Scroll
this
up.
one here.
Yep. So in the CSS rules, you can see timeline event before, timeline event after. And then here's maybe a, a clue. At the top, it says the first rule says system note timeline entry after none. I don't know. Let's have a look at the CSS and we'll see if we can find it out. So what we're trying to work out is the second last child doesn't seem to have an after. So what we're going to look at for is a CSS rule back in our VS Code for a CSS rule that mentions like second last child or something that so we've got rules for the last child. We've got rules for not the last child. So it'll all be in the vertical bit as well. So like this is a pretty long CSS section, but there's going to be one bit here. Okay, so what's this note? It says we have a very specific design proposal where we cannot use vertical line mix-in. Okay, so usually we'd use a mix-in where we wouldn't have to fuck around with all of this, but because we can't do that, we have to use custom style, and you can see more information wherever if you want. But that's why it's so messy. So that's good to know because it means like maybe you shouldn't rewrite the whole thing. Maybe you should just find the quick win.
There's a reason why things are as they are and why we have it before and after.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we've got before and after, and this says like add the line, right? And the height of the line is 100% of the component of the 100% of the element plus some extra spacing. So that means like so the before element had height 2.5, but this is the actual thing that we're missing. So something here is overwriting this rule. So there's a more specific rule. Let's just try to find it. So the first child before, it's not relevant to us because we're looking for like second last child. But first child after, not relevant. Okay, the last child, and it's a create timeline event, not relevant to us.
Okay.
The last child after, not relevant to us. Oh shit! I think we ran out of rules. What the fuck? Let's try to find like the 2.5 REM rule.
Okay.
So instead of 2.5 REM, it's going to say like GL spacing scale something.
So GL space scale 5.
It might be 5, might be something else. So
there's also-
GL spacing scale is a CSS variable. And that variable is being used. Yeah, it's probably 5. So somewhere we have a height of just GL space scale 5. So yeah, maybe let's look throughout the document for that. Do you understand what I mean? Do you follow my logic there, or was I a bit?
The last line, I wasn't sure what you said.
So somewhere there's a rule that says before an item, instead of the height being 100% plus 2.5 rem or GL spacing, it just says before make the height GL spacing 2.5.
Right.
Because I can't see that rule, and it's odd that I can't see that rule. Which makes me think that some vertical line logic is stored somewhere else in the CSS.
And where might that be?
Maybe just do a search in this file for GL spacing 5. We'll look at each we'll look at each time it says that.
So we have 6 hits, and the first one.
What we're looking for is height. This.
So we get this first one.
Yeah.
And also where it's the first child.
Okay.
After. So these are the 5.
Okay.
Height hits.
Let's have a look in the browser again.
Yeah.
Yeah, from here, like I don't know any answers. I'm just trying to work it out with you. This is the yeah. So we've got a before on this, but what is this? What we're looking at? Oh, this is a create timeline event. Okay, so there's 2 different things happening here. One is a create timeline event, and one is, oh yeah, I think this is the answer. One is a timeline timeline list item. So can you see in the elements, go back there,
Yeah.
in the element list without scrolling? Oh,
Sorry.
it's all good. We can see it here. So this is the list item, this element that we've got selected.
Yeah.
So this is a list item within a unordered list, right?
Right.
And then, so this list item is a last child. But there is an element that looks exactly like it afterwards, but that element is a create timeline event. It's not a list item. So we currently have a rule. So if you close this, if you close this new timeline event, you'll find that like that item is the last. Oh, sorry, cancel the new one. Yeah. So this last item is the last child, right? So we have a rule on the last child. Don't add a line after it, because if you have a line after it, you're the last child, so there shouldn't be one. The problem is, it's still the last child, but the next element is a create timeline event. So that's where our CSS is broken.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if we go back to our CSS, so we have last child.
And create timeline.
Yeah. So last child, for last children, and for create timeline event, don't give a after. But what we need to say somehow, I'm not sure how, is if you are the last item and create timeline event is present, you should have a after. Or another way we could do it is we could say, if you are the create timeline element and there is a previous timeline event list, then you should have a before. Before would be a bit awkward because we don't know how tall the element is.
Right.
So this is going to test our CSS skills. Let's think about it for a second.
So when I run into this program,
So we could also experiment a little and maybe just see what we have in this for this type of element,
Mhm.
and maybe plug it in here where after it.
So
Or-
after is after the last child or after a create timeline event?
So it would need to be at before rather than after.
It needs to be. So our rule should apply this on line 54,
Mhm.
this after. Okay, so we might need to split line 46, 47. So like for create timeline events, before add the little thing, and after don't do anything
Okay.
like it is now. But for last child events, before add the little thing as per create timeline event, but after sometimes sometimes you should have an after, sometimes no.
I mean, another way to do it is just to get rid of the border completely until it's been added. You know.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So
That
on create timeline event, don't have the little thing at all. Yeah, let's try that.
And maybe, I mean, it'd be a lot easier to do, I think, as well.
And like it's a good temporary fix.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. So what we're going to do? Oh, do you know how to? Do you know how to do that quickly, or do you want me to?
Yeah. I mean, why don't you walk me through it?
So,
Even
yep,
if
cool.
I have an idea of how to do it, it would be good to explain what.
Yeah.
What
So let's copy. Let's copy line from line 46 to line 55. 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, copy that and then paste it again afterwards. Okay, so the comma after line 56, last child. Oh, sorry, I've missed a can you just add on line 55? After line 55, add a new line and close the bracket and give us a new line. Yep, perfect. Okay, so now what we're saying is so for last child, comma, which means like for last child, and this rule also applies to create timeline event. Do this. So we want to remove last child from this. So we'll remove line 58. So then
Okay.
these rules only apply to create timeline event.
Timeline. Okay.
Yep. And then so just remove that
Create
line.
timeline. Yeah. Okay.
And then on line 47, we want to remove comma and create timeline event.
Sorry, on
So
line
we'll remove
40,
the comma from line 46. Yeah.
remove the comma.
Yeah. And then we'll remove everything before the curly bracket on line 47.
I see. Okay.
And then we'll just remove. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So now we have separate rules for last child and for create timeline event.
I see. Okay.
So what we want to say is, sorry, go.
That's what I wasn't so sure about. So last child always going to refer to the last entry in our timeline, right?
No. Oh, yes and no.
Well,
So what
previously,
last child?
yeah. Go ahead.
So what last child does is it's a CSS selector that says if you are the last child in your parent, it applies to this.
Okay.
So these are the last child in their parent because they're line items in an unordered list. Whereas create timeline event is a separate thing.
I see.
It's a separate element.
Which is
So-
not an unordered list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like it. It doesn't have to be an unordered list to be the last child, but yeah, it's a separate thing.
That's how we're doing it. Yeah.
So for now, if we add before, we want to say so line 59 and 60, we want it content none as per line 64.
Okay.
So we'll
Makes sense.
remove line 59 and we'll remove line 61.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now we say like create timeline event. It doesn't have.
There's no side border before and also no side border after. There's no
Yeah.
side.
So I think this is going to fix our immediate problem. So if we do save.
So I
this,
hit Command S. Is there another way to save in the browser, or how?
No, that's it. You've saved it. But what might be the problem is like Prettier might not be running in this instance.
Okay.
That's why it's not auto formatting. Or Prettier might not be set up for SCSS. But it's a different problem.
All right.
So-
I just wanted to ask, for the sake, so that I know, but also for other people, maybe
sure.
they're having an issue with enabling commands in the browser, or they haven't checked that.
It's a great point.
So
Okay, so go back to a browser
yeah.
and we'll add a new timeline event. Okay, that's odd. It's because we've got it before
Interesting. Okay.
and we shouldn't. Oh, let's add another one. Okay, we're still at the same problem. So that's odd. So I would have expected this to update automatically, but
Yeah, I'm wondering.
maybe CSS runs a little bit differently in GitLab. I forgot. I just haven't done any straight CSS stuff for a little while.
Okay.
I'm just going to search for this GDK GitLab, and then I update CSS because we can just do GDK start and restart it. But maybe there's a faster way, and I can't remember how to do it.
So should I go GDK start in the terminal?
Just give me 1 second. I'll just Google it and see if we can find a quicker way. Because what I want to know is like, when you're using GDK, how do you implement CSS? I mean,
Fixes.
I should definitely fucking know this, but
All good. And if we refresh our pseudo local page,
yeah,
I
maybe
should be
just
fine.
try that. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just try that. Yeah.
Hopefully we don't.
Yeah, that might be the only thing we need to do. Fingers crossed. So, yeah, when you update the view, you don't necessarily actually have to update the page, like refresh the page. It can do it like spontaneously, but for CSS, maybe not. Can't see a border. It's a bit blurry. It's good, right? That's what we want.
I don't see it, which is perfect.
Great.
Like
Cool.
yeah.
Okay, our CSS is
And
working.
I can't detect it anywhere, so that's what we needed to do. We needed to reload the page.
Okay,
Easier than
now
we thought.
So now we have one possible solution, but this possible solution we need to do two things. One is if we're happy with this solution, we need to tag the product designer to get their approval, which we can totally do, and I'll show you how to do this. But I think we might have a different problem, just because I've worked on this before. If you cancel this and we try to edit one of the previous items, so cancel adding this.
Okay. Do you
No,
want
no,
me
no.
to
Sorry,
just?
sorry, sorry, sorry. Cancel the timeline event. Sorry, I didn't say that clearly.
I see.
Yeah. So can we edit the second last one? Yeah. So now we have this is edit is also a create timeline event component,
Okay.
and so this edit, oh, its lines work. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So what were
Great.
you expecting?
I was expecting it to have no
No borders.
lines, no
Yeah.
border.
But I think they're still extended from the posts before and after.
Yeah, it might be because when it's editing, it is a line item, which means
Ah,
it's
okay.
part of. Okay, cool, great, no worries, sweet. So, if you're happy with this, if you like it, which up to you. I
I
think it's a
like
good.
it.
Good.
I'm pleased with it. I think it's
All right,
better
sweet,
than
sweet.
what we had. So
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So what we want to do is we want to take some screenshots, and we're going to include this in the MR. And before we ask for a review, we're going to ask for a UX review from the product designer, and we're going to explain why we're doing it this way.
So
So let's take some screenshots now of this in action.
right.
And then we're going to sweet, and then we'll go back to your code. Oh, we'll just no, we'll go back to your code. Yep.
How many screenshots do we want, or do we also want to show one where we're editing here
Yeah,
and
let's show that as well. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we can say we were concerned about this. We checked it. It's all good.
Yeah. All right, so screenshots.
All right, so
Boom.
now we'll go back to the So now what we've got to do is we're just got to make sure this CSS is like styled right because Prettier isn't working. I think all we need to do is indent line 57 to 64. So you can do like Shift Tab, Control Shift, Command Shift Tab. How do you go in?
Oh well, it did go in. It was
Yeah,
indented.
go in
I
one more. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
go in one more.
Oh, like so.
That's out.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
Like so.
perfect. Great.
Oh, I see. I was just looking at this at line 52 and thinking, oh yeah, no, that does work. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All good, all good.
Cool. Okay, so now let's commit these changes. We'll open an MR and we'll tag the product manager, and we'll get
So
you your swag because you.
I use the GUI when I'm doing version control, so maybe you can walk me through.
Yeah, cool. The way I do it is so on the left hand side, you can see the one and the like Git branch logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So so to stage it, you press on the plus.
right.
Yeah. And then in the commit message, so above that, you want to type the message where it says message. Now, GitLab has a rule. Git messages must start with a capital. And this commit message is what's going to go on the main branch, on the master branch. So we're going to name this carefully and properly and with a capital at the start. So I think I would call it like bug fix. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, remove. Yeah. Yeah, get rid of, yep. Yeah, that's fine. Commit.
And are there any like principles you want to sort of mention regarding providing your messages when you're doing a commit that
No,
people should follow? Okay.
no.
And then
Like,
publish it.
yeah, publish branch. That should work. Okay, cool. So now what we've got is we've got two things. We've got an origin and we've got an upstream. So this is a bit confusing because the upstream. Okay, so origin is our GitLab community fork. That's where we're going to store our branch. The upstream to that is the main one, which you cannot create a branch on, but I can because I work for GitLab. So we're going to select origin. Yep. And now this, okay, let's read this. An operation requires additional permissions. Read repository, open the access panel. Great. What did it say? What did it say is missing?
I don't know.
This should be fine. Let's try it again.
Should I just
Yeah,
update
yeah. Let's add
permission?
that. Yeah,
Yeah, might as well have it, right?
yeah. That makes sense. Cool. Okay, now we'll try it again.
Do we want GitPod code to
Nah.
periodically run fetch? No.
Can if you want, but that's fine.
I'd rather do that manually.
Sweet. All right. So we'll so it doesn't give us the option to automatically publish. So we'll just do it in the terminal. So in the terminal, this one is in the folder GitLab development kit. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So we'll
Yeah.
just do git push.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it'll be like, where do you want to push it to? Okay, so what it's doing here is it's running a bunch of linting locally. So then it doesn't have. So then what happens is it catches it before you send it to GitLab. So for example, if you didn't put a capital in your commit message, it would realize here and be like, whoa. You need that. Okay, so it worked. Cool. Great. Everything up to date.
So it says the
Where's
change
the
is missing. Is this a problem for us? Or?
we don't need a change log because it's not significant.
Okay.
We're just doing a style. So I would have expected to give us the URL for our branch, but it hasn't. That's cool. Let's go back to the GitLab community fork. I think it's GitLab community next one. Sorry, the one in between those two with the red GitLab
yeah.
logo.
No.
That's not it either.
This guy? No.
No.
Where did it go?
Okay, the address is in the chat anyway.
Okay.
It should be
This was the
that one. That's it. GitLab community GitLab. Yep.
nice.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look for we're gonna open the GitLab project. So this is all of the GitLab community forks. And what we're specifically working on is GitLab. Okay, you push. Okay, great. This is what we want. So we're gonna create a merge request. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So now we're creating our first merge request. This is good. So the title removed side border for create timeline event. So that's the name of the commit, but instead what we're going to name it is the name of the issue.
Okay.
So we're going to name it this, but instead of bug, I'll just change the start to like bug fix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. So now in this template, we're going to fill it out. What does this do? You can leave that line. Sorry, leave that line. Add it under. Yeah, add it under that line.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the campaign, or I don't know what that means. It means also like cannot. Maybe the restaurant is closed.
So this is correct. What you've written. Is maybe so. If you think about the audience that you're writing this for, this merge request will have the code details, and so like you should write it for like a product manager sort of to read.
Okay.
So then instead of saying like referencing which specific component you're changing, you can say like the side border is removed for new timeline event for new timeline events. Yeah, exactly. In incidents, side border is removed for new timeline events. Yeah, that's all. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine because we're going to show it in the screenshot anyway.
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to have the screenshot. So you could do like before and after. So we can create it. We'll do a before and after. So
Okay.
in order to create the before and after, we don't want to use this one because it's in dark mode. We'll use your one. So we'll go back to our code, and now that we've pushed it, we'll just check out master again. So just do like git checkout master. Yeah, and then refresh your GitLab instance that's running. And then we should see the bug again. And so we want to take the same screenshots as you already taken so that we can create a table that says like before, example, after, example.
Yeah.
So we'll go back up to timeline. Yeah, and then so edit one in the middle, edit one at the end, take screenshots. Yeah.
Right.
And then edit one in the middle just to be consistent. Take a screenshot of that.
And it looks fine in the middle, right?
Yep, that's fine.
For both, yeah.
Okay, so now we'll go back to our merge request.
I didn't get the first one over here, so let me just do it again.
One on the curated list, which was to be able to list files.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think we're good now.
So in our merge request, we're going to add these screenshots in a table. So you can just under like screenshots required for UI, blah blah. We'll create a table top right, yeah, and then put like a before in one header and after in the other header. Yeah, and then in the table add your before and after pics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you just drag them then, or
just do like attach? Press attach right on the right hand side of table. Yeah. Oh, and we can't see this because we're just seeing your browser, I guess.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
See more. So you're going to select the before, and you're going to select the after, and then we'll make sure it fits properly. Okay, cool. So then in the next section, maybe just get rid of that enter, just in case it's like, because the table's a bit sensitive in the markdown, right?
Yeah.
So just make sure that it's not going to
get rid of which enter?
So there's like a new line after screenshot. I'm just concerned that that's going to fuck up the table. So we'll just make sure it's not going to. Yeah. So we'll insert the next one there. So this would be the after version of that same screenshot. This makes it way easier for reviewers.
All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I did it properly.
Yeah.
I actually
you can have a look at it in the preview. Just what I do is I just add them all in, and then in the preview work it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. It's a bit frustrating.
Where did we
It's not
go?
real easy to do it in Markdown. The last one, new merge request. Yeah. So yeah, so just chuck all 4 in, and then we'll sort it out in the preview.
Okay.
Hopefully, magically, we'll accidentally get it right the first time.
Okay. Just going to delete this one and put them all back.
Okay.
Yeah. Put all 4 in there. Whoops. Bearing with me. Okay, there we go.
Please take your time.
And when we're working with the tables, should we make sure that all of these line breaks are cleared away, or just don't touch it? Or
Let's have a look at the preview. So at the top of this section, it has write and preview. If you click on preview tab, then we can see like what's happening, what it looks like.
I see. Okay.
And then we can fix it up as needed.
So the developer tools are included in my screenshots. I'm guessing that's not ideal, but
not ideal, but doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think it'll be a bit better if depends how much you want to fuck around with it. Let's just make it share, and then we'll iterate. That's
yeah,
that's the GitLab
I can clean
values,
it up.
so after each, so in the markdown, we want to have a screenshot, and then we want to have the pipe to like separate the cells. And then we'll one on top of each other, and it should be like the same one before, same one after, same before, same after. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that very well.
Like so, or
so we want to say like so pipe, and then after the pipe we want to say the screenshot, and then after the screenshot we want another pipe. Yeah. And then another screenshot like in between those two. Okay, sorry. You see how it says like pipe before, pipe after, pipe?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Oh, sorry.
How about I just clean it up in my own time? Like we'll just post
Yeah, that's
this
cool.
and then
Yeah,
finish
let's do
recording.
that. Yeah.
It's going to take me a
Cool.
bit of time to just
Yeah,
get familiar
no
with
worries at all.
that. And
Yeah,
I
that's
can
sweet.
also crop the screenshots to get rid of the
Perfect. Yep. So then we've got how to set up and validate locally. So if you go back to the issue, I already wrote that. So you can just copy paste
Okay.
from the issue. I think it's the one that says bug time. Yeah. So steps to reproduce, just copy paste this. Oh, so convenient. Okay, and then so yeah, after the suggested. Yeah. Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Scroll down. MR acceptance list. Have you done this? I did this. You can read this in your own time. Maybe leave it
Yeah,
unticked for now. Read it in your own time. But
I'll get back to it and then tick it when I edit
Sweet.
the cuts as well.
All right, so then create the merge request.
Okay. Ready to go?
Yeah. Ready to go. And now what should happen is like, so it'll take a few minutes to like get all of the changes. And you should be able to see on the right-hand side, we've got some labels that are automatically added.
Right.
So I would have expected it to pull in all of the labels from our MR, from our issue. It doesn't look like it's done that. Maybe it'll just take a minute. I'm not sure. But what I want to do next is, first we need to add the label for this GitLab conference that we're currently at.
Oh, okay.
So then we can track it. One second, I'll just ask what the label is. Okay. The label is contributor days. So if you go labels on the right hand side, you should be able to add a
Where do I
label.
add? To add it?
He can't add a label?
No.
Oh, I need to add a label.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense. I'll add the label. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay. So then what I want to do is draft a comment where you tag the product manager for this product. Product designer.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you how to do this. So if you look at the issue in bug time, you can see on the labels here, we can see what group it's in. So on the right hand side, there's you might need to extend this out. Yeah, labels. So we're in group respond, and we're in monitor respond, DevOps monitor, group respond. That's the team that we're working. So if you read this here, yeah, scope label. So this is scope. So what we want to do is we want to look up the group respond and see who the product designer is. So if you just Google GitLab group respond.
Okay.
Yep. And then in our handbook, we should have respond group. Yep. And then you can look at like who does what in this team. So if we scroll down, we should be able to see team members. You can see me front end, and then you can see like senior product designer is Amelia. So what we're going to do is we're going to tag Amelia Ballery in our comment. So at Amelia, yeah, just wait for it to load. Yeah. So you can say, so now you can say, hi Amelia, can you have a look at this fix for this bug? It's different to what we planned, but I think it's a good fix. What do you think? Or yeah, can you yeah, what do you think? Something like that.
I also mentioned that mention you,
Please.
James.
Yeah.
J-
Might need to be one word.
Crashford or
I think if you do J Rushford, yeah.
great.
Perfect. So we'll do that after you finish updating the MR. So then when she has a look at the MR, it's completed.
Okay.
And then you can also see in so the GitLab bot has added a comment as well. So scroll up.
And it's assigned to me now,
You
or
want to read something? Oh, the comment it's done. So it says, "Hey Matt, thank you for your contribution. Blah blah. Read all this shit. When you're ready for the review, post as a comment at
Mhm.
GitLab bot space ready." And what that will do is it will automatically tag a reviewer. Oh,
just like so.
sorry, my headphones went. Yeah, exactly. When you're ready.
Okay.
But you can also tag me, and I'll add myself as a review. Oh well, I won't add myself as a reviewer because I co-wrote it, so I can't
Right.
do it. But yeah, just do GitLab bot ready, and then it will get some.
Okay. But first we need Amelia's thumbs up, and first we need to, and before we get that, we need to fix up these screenshots. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
In my own time. I think we've already made a lot of progress. So,
Yeah, great.
nice.
First merge request. It's great. Well done.
Awesome. Feels great.
And then yeah, I'll add the oh yeah, if you want to stop sharing,
Yeah, sure.
I'll add the label to say that we did this at the conference, and you can get your swag.
Nice. Thank you, James. I didn't even know I was getting swag for this.
Actually, you can get a hat or a backpack. Do you want a hat or a backpack?
Wow. Can I think it
You
over?
get lab socks. Yeah. Think it
Awesome.
over. Sweet. Great. Thanks so much. And thanks for letting us stream this. Hopefully it will be useful for other people doing their first merge request.
Yeah, it was super helpful for me, and it's also nice that we get to help out other people get set up.
Sweet. Thanks. I'll chat to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you, James.
No worries. See ya.
Bye.